Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
Guys with extremely loud vehicles, why do you do this to everyone? ITT not a single answer from an actual owner of a loud vehicle. Most of them are still asleep so they can stay up all night driving around aimlessly. One of the things I've noticed about people like this is they have an astounding lack of social awareness. Or personal awareness. It's like they live life on autopilot. I can't explain it, but it's almost like there's no decision-making going on in their head. It's just, do. Have a kid with no money? Sure, why not? 27% interest on a lifted truck. You got it. Get drinks with $27 left in their bank account and bills to pay. Fuck it. There's no rationalization. Just existence. The real answer is that there are three possibilities. I'll give you why real car guys do it first and then the other two. Why real car guys do it. A quiet exhaust is a restrictive exhaust. Car guys are on a never-ending quest for more power, and a cheap way to make power is with a less restrictive exhaust. Especially on turbocharged vehicles like I own. Actually, the loudness of the exhaust is just a byproduct of decreasing restriction and not always the intention. Why other car people do it? Because they like the sound and it's their vehicle and they get enjoyment out of listening to the engine roar. Why the last group does it? Because they can't afford to, or don't care to, fix their old broken exhaust. Respectfully, there is absolutely a fourth group, people who are desperate for attention and no loud noises will get it. They're the same people that blast shitty music at the beach. This is the answer you are looking for, op. The answer I think op is looking for is a dude to say, because I'm a miserable cunt who just wants to bother other people. Bold for you to expect they put loud exhaust on purpose and then read for pleasure. Calling Reddit doomscrolling, reading for pleasure, is an incredibly generous take. Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to read your comment. This will be a thread of people just talking about how shitty those folks are. Because they are. 'Cause I'm broke and I can't fix it, haha. The only reasonable-ish answer. As someone who had a loud vehicle, it wasn't for you or women or anyone. I just loved the way my car sounded. And it came like that from the factory, so not like I made it louder after the fact. Not compensating for anything, just a huge car guy and its music to me. It had valves to quiet it down too, so I would shut them in neighborhoods or passing by people, dogs walking, so I don't wake anyone. This was the only real answer from an owner of a loud car. The quieting it down in neighborhoods is what makes the difference between you and the average jackass who thinks revving through the neighborhood at 2 a.m. is hilarious. Of course, it's possible that there are lots of people like this who quieten down their exhaust in neighborhoods, but you just don't notice them, you only notice the jackasses. Back in high school, I was an idiot. I just finished watching Fast and the Furious and wanted to be Vin Diesel so bad. So I took my mom's '92 Civic Lux and made it loud, even though I didn't gain one single horsepower. I put neon lights on it, an annoying Sony Explode sound system, and a giant aluminum wing. I thought I was so cool. I eventually met my future wife and she hated it. So we saved up for a sign to get rid of the neon monster. Now that I'm old and complain about loud vehicles, my wife is always quick to remind me of the Civic and that this was nature's revenge. Because race car. I was getting coffee at a gas station last week, 6 a.m. Biker outside proceeds to rev his engine very loudly for a good 30 secs, for no reason at all. Next door is a hotel. I'm sure they were all thinking how cool he was getting woken up at 6 a.m. Older bikes have a bad habit of not holding a constant idle. Either the revs jump up and down without touching the throttle, or they stall if you don't keep it revved up. It's especially bad if the engine is cold after it's just been started. The guy could have just been a twat, but it might be a problem with the bike, not him doing it intentionally. The guy was a twat. No bike needs to be a thundercunt machine. There are only two possibilities: they want attention and even negative attention works for them, or they don't care about anyone that isn't themselves. Both are childish mindsets. Yeah, the one guy said his reason was, I like pissing you little bitches off. And then complains about the negative attention, downvoted, lol. Or I'm just too fucking poor to afford a new car or a new exhaust system. Option 3. No. That's a very specific sound. Broken car is forgivable, because they will fix it eventually. Blowing my eardrums with a fart can and by running rich to create fake anti-lag pops at stoplights are what we're complaining about. Except they're always driving an 80k vehicle. I fixed 2 different cars' exhausts when I was broke, one of them with a beer can that was handy in the gutter right near where I was parked. It was one of those heavy Australian ones, and lasted for years. I've found in my experience that people with loud vehicles like loud vehicles, and it goes no deeper than that. They just like it and don't really care that others don't. I can't afford new rotors yet, my brakes squeak a bit but my engine exhaust ain't modified to be any louder. I'm guessing this thread isn't directed at people with squeaky brakes. I'm thinking it's for people who ride Harley-type bikes or put a loud exhaust on. Presumably for attention-seeking purposes. I have a C6 Corvette. When I had a harmonic balancer failure, it was recommended to do an engine refresh, aftermarket camshaft, and head work. Shop stated that headers and an X-pipe would be needed to support the new parts, power. Car has catalytic converters and mufflers. Is still just loud, nature of performance. An ICE is an air pump. The more air being pumped, the louder it is. I'm not a dick with it, and I don't drive it early in the morning or late at night. Man, do I love my car though. Louder exhausts are generally less restrictive, therefore more power, faster, but that's for track purposes. Loud street cars mostly for the sound, they aren't doing it for other people, just themselves, usually. They are doing it for themselves without consideration for other people is a more accurate way to put it. Consideration is not starting track cars early or late in the day and just idling in and out of the neighborhood, not creating a racket in any suburbs etc. But I don't think there are too many newborns getting woken up sleeping on highway on ramps when you can push the car a bit. I like to fire up my leaf blower at 2 a.m. and wake up all my neighbors. Performs better in the dry night air. I'm not doing it for anyone else, just myself. Wow, the answers are crazy. As an owner of a loud-esque vehicle, I agree some people just want attention, but for a lot of us car enthusiasts, it's because we want to hear the responsiveness of the car. I can hear what gear it is in, I can hear when it shifts, or downshifts. Also it makes the driver feel more engaged with the road. If I didn't want that car feedback, I would have purchased a luxury electric vehicle for the price I've put into my car. For all they're immature answers coming from people who aren't even the ones supposed to answer the question, this is easily the most mature answer so far. Funny, Reddit hive mind in action. Reddit is basically all Karens who just need to make the dissatisfaction with the world known to everyone and be rewarded for it. Frankly, the people answering like that deserve to have a straight pipe charger drive past their house full send on a daily basis. I don't know where you live, but I live in a suburb. Why do they need to feel responsiveness when they are going to buy socks? Or go to work? On suburban streets where people live. Why does your need to hear your engine have to affect every resident along those routes? I asked some guys at a local car club what their times were at the local track where my friend races his BMW. They don't race the cars, they drive them home to their parents and then go to work at 5 o'clock past dozens of buildings with thousands of residents who don't care about your car's responsiveness. Why do they need to feel responsiveness when they are going to buy socks? I can't speak for the loud exhaust, but this one is easy. It's because we like driving. Just the action of driving. I drive exclusively standard transmission because I like how it feels to make my car move the way I want it to move and not what a computer thinks I want. Some people seek more enjoyment out of life than just having a milquetoast job, home, and hobbies. It's for when you want to have some fun getting on the highway. When you're in the mountains whipping it around corners. To overall enjoy what you're driving outside of the utilitarian pointer to point B. That's not to say I'm defending people who straight pipe their trucks and cars, being loud as shit even at idle or low speed. That's annoying. That's annoying to drive around in with the droning. But there's a middle ground. If you aren't enjoying your car, even while doing mundane tasks, you bought the wrong car or you're just utterly boring. I want to upvote, but it's not just guys. But I totally agree otherwise, when it's like 11 p.m. and some selfish asshole yokes by with their loud lawnmower tailpipe thinking they're hot shit, not thinking about all the people trying to sleep, I don't have much room for anything but resentment toward that person. Please show me the 4 women on earth who do this. Rural American here. There are 4 women like this just on my block. Most women around here proudly drive lifted pickups covered in Trump flags with modified exhaust to make them louder, and I've seen more than one woman rolling coal in my neighborhood. I'm one of the 4, I guess. My car is loud, G80 M3 comp with tune and down pipes, mid pipes. However, I am kind enough to leave it in quiet mode when I leave in the morning. I have a 79 Corvette, nothing aftermarket, everything is original. It is quite loud, I am very cognizant of that, really only drive it on the weekend afternoons. It's a very fun car to drive with the T-tops off in Nice weather cruising up the highways. I do my best to not be a douche about it. I wish for only bad things for the dirty motherfuckers who put train horns in their trucks. Step on a Lego, dipshits. Now that fully is just to be an asshole. A mixture of ultra-entitled, narcissistic people who simply have no concern how their actions affect other people, and actual sadists. I believe some studies actually found that they tend to have antisocial traits rather than narcissistic traits. As someone with tinnitus, I have a personal hatred for them. More I'm an ex-loud vehicle owner. Had a motorcycle in college with a loud thump, and I had a custom-built exhaust installed to make it way louder. I used to think it was a cool thing to do. You know, be a rebel and all that. It's only much later that I realized just how much of an inconsiderate asshole I was, and that I was just doing that to be the center of attention. I'm sure I got the attention too, but not the kind I thought I was getting. Fuck loud vehicles. They're not cool. V8 go burr. I'm a Turbo 4 guy. I'm a sucker for turbo noise. I've only owned one naturally aspirated car, and that was a 2015 Mustang GT. The owner before me put headers and a catback on it, so she rumbled real loud. I gotta say, that thing was so much fun to listen to. I got rid of it fairly quickly, not cause of the exhaust, but after my brief stint with it, I see why muscle guys like muscle. V8s are so much fun.